Just a tad there. All right, so section 11-3 is called arc length and area of a sector. So for example, number 1, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the arc length with 62 degrees and a radius of 2 meters. All right? So we're going to be starting with a full circle. But we don't want the whole circle, we just want a portion of it. So we're going to cut a piece out of it. That piece is called the sector. Okay? That sector, we only want the arc length. So the arc length is only going to be from here to here. Just the measurement of that piece of the circle. Okay? The information we need is all right here. 62 degrees is the measure of the angle. And that 62 degrees is out of a full circle. Full circles have 360 degrees, right? But we only want 62 of it. Right? The other information we need is the radius. So the radius is 2 meters. Okay? Now, when you're given these, the angle measure is either going to be right here in the center or it's going to be out here. Doesn't matter where it's at. They're going to be the same. If you want to rewrite it in the other place, go for it. All right, so we look on our formula sheet and we see that the arc length formula is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is just the circumference of a full circle, but we only want this portion of it. So we're going to say the measure of the angle over 360 degrees. Now we're going to plug in our 2 values. So our 2 values are just the radius and the degree angle. So we're going to have 2 pi times the radius, which is 2, times the measure of the angle, which is 62, over 360. All right? So we're going to give our answer in 2 ways, because you could be asked either way. You could be asked for it in terms of pi, or you could be asked for it as a decimal. So the first time we go through, we're going to type in everything into the calculator except the pi button. So here's what it looks like. If you have your calculator, you can go ahead and type 2 times 2 times 62, hit the equals, then divide it by 360, and I got 0.68, and then after it's a bunch of 8. So I'm going to round this 8. Does it stay or round up? It's going to round up. So we're going to say 0.69 pi, and this one is in meters. And then we're going to get another decimal answer. Don't hit clear on your calculator. Just leave that decimal in there, and then hit times. And then it should say ANS. That means it's taking the previous answer, and we're going to multiply it by the pi button. So it should show the little pi symbol on there. The pi is about little less than halfway down on the left-hand side. Hit the equals, and that means we've got 2.16. There's a 4 next to it, so does it stay or round up? Stay. So it's going to be roughly 2.16 meters. There's your 2 answers. Okay? That's the arc length. Arc length is just that outside piece right there. Okay? Just a portion of that full circumference. All right? Any questions on example number 1? Guess what we're going to do for example number 2? We're going to get the area. So we're going to find the area of the sector, and this one is going to have 131 degrees and a radius of 12 inches. Oh, can't see it. There we go. So we're going to find the area of the whole sector. It's going to have 131 degrees and a radius of 12 inches. So let's draw a full circle. Now, half of the circle would be 180. So 131 is kind of right about in there, right? Okay, so we'll say this is 131 degrees of the full 360, okay? We want the area of it, not just the arc length, but the whole area. So I'm going to shade inside that area of that sector, okay? And again, you're either going to see the 131 here, or you might see it here. And then the other piece of information is the radius of 12 inches. Very rarely will you be given the diameter on these, but if you are given the diameter, just take half of it to get the radius. Okay. All right, so first thing you want to do is you want to write down the area of the sector formula, which we just put on your formula sheet. So it's pi r squared. Pi r squared would give us the full circle. We only want part of it, so we're going to say the angle measure over 360. And now we just want to plug in our two pieces of information. First one being the radius goes right here. Second one being the angle measure is going to go right there. So we're going to have pi times 12 squared. And then the angle measure is 131 over 360. Okay, so that's what it looks like all plugged in. I'm going to get my two answers. For the first one, I'm going to plug in everything but the pi button. Don't plug in the pi button just quite yet. Do everything else. So if you need to, square your 12 first, but you should get 144 times 131. Then I'm going to divide that by 360. And I've got 52.4 pi. This one was in what? Inches. So inches squared because it's area. Now I just want to take that answer and multiply it by the pi button. So don't hit clear, just leave it in there, hit times. It's going to take your previous answer times the pi button. Hit the equal again. Now we're going to get another decimal. So we've got 164.61, but next to it's a 9. So we need to round up. 164.62 inches squared. Okay, so if they ask you for your answer in terms of pi, give this one. If they ask you for your answer as a decimal, give this one. If you're not sure, give both. All right? Any questions on example number 2?